In this project, I've created flashings for the barges and for the ridges, but I haven't used a flashing tool. Let's just have a look. This is a railing tool. This is a railing. This one here is a railing, and so on. So why am I using railings to create these flashings? Well, part of the answer is because I can, and it makes it really quick. Let me show you how quick it can be. So let's delete that and that. That's my railing there, and that's my railing there. So I've gotten rid of my railings, and now I've got my gutters. So I can hide those. I can use my visibility tool. I've got it set to class. I can hide all of those. So let's create some railing. So it's using my building shell tool set. There's my railing tool. And I've got a couple that I've created already. So I've created this one at 30 degrees, a ridge flashing at 25. So let's start with the ridge flashing at 25. So I click there. Everywhere I want to change direction, I'm clicking. And then double click to finish. And because of the way the railing tool, remember the railing tool's got this thing called gravity. Here it is here, gravity's turned on. And the gravity mode fits to a three-dimensional shape or a three-dimensional object, which is super cool because it just does that for you automatically. Okay, so we can do that. The other one I've created is the barge flashing. And the barge flashing is peculiar. You've got to make sure that you're creating the barge flashing in the right direction. So we click at the eaves, click at the ridge, double click at the other eaves, and I've gone in the right direction and it's created my barge flashing. And because I clicked at the ridge, I've got a peek at the ridge there, and it's really quick. So to me, this is a really fantastic way to do it. I think if I go from there to there and double click, it's on the correct side, and from the bottom to the ridge to the top, and I've got my flashings in the right place. So there you are, there's my flashings. Now let's have a look at how these flashings were made. So this barge flashing is a style, so we need to edit the style. Now I've turned off the guardrail. Let's start with the general settings. So the general setting is it's a handrail only, and you can clearly see here, this is the shape of my flashing. So I've taken the handrail top rail, and I've got the handrail offset, and my profile is a 2D object, a 2D symbol, and it's this one here, the capping. So this is a polygon, and it's the shape for the capping that I want, my barge flashing. I've called it capping 1, I could have called it anything. Now when I'm doing my ridge flashing, I've got one here which is a ridge, 30 degrees, 25 degrees, and I've got this capping. So I created a 2D shape that's got the right dimensions for the width here. It's got to cover 2 crests of my roof. It's got to come down at least 150. It's got to come back into my fascia board. So I created that as a 2D symbol. And Vectorworks uses that 2D symbol, and then it drags it along my barge. Now, particularly, I click at the eaves and the ridge and the other eaves. That's really important because that way Vectorworks doesn't have to calculate where the ridge is. Now, the handrail offset, I've actually calculated what this is based on the size I've got and how far it needs to go. The handrail height, 40 millimeters. So it actually puts everything in exactly the right place. Let's draw this one along to there. So this has got my railing, and you can see it's my railing, and it's got my flashing here. So let's change that. We'll replace that with a style called ridge flashing. My roof's only 25 degrees, so let's choose 25. And I need to change the elevation here. Now, when I create that from scratch, it works really well, as you saw previously. So let's go to our railing tool. Let's get our ridge flashing, 25 degrees. I'm going to start there, click and double click here to finish, and it's at the right elevation. Now, if you have a look here, when we do our ridge flashing, we look at our settings, it's overall height, so it's actually lifted up just the right amount. And I think that is really superb. Now, I didn't think of this. Samuel thought of this. Samuel attended one of my recent end-of-year public workshops. He pointed me in this direction. I asked him about it, and he said this is how he does it. And then I learned how to make all these parts and make it work. I think it's really clever. And I also think it's a really quick way to create your flashings. So thanks, Sam. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit the subscribe. Don't forget the like button. But if you really want to learn how to make one of these from scratch, then become a member on my website and bring it up at one of my workshops, and we'll cover it from start to finish. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.